right, Seb, back again. How you feeling?
Feel good. It's I've been here quite a while now, and the off seasons are getting shorter and shorter. I think it's a good thing. It shows the success of the team as well, getting as far as they have done in the last couple of years. And yeah, I'd rather be here working, going through pre-season, getting ready for the upcoming season.
It's kind of a different off season for you with Haley departing the club and just kind of filling that role in the interim. Just kind of how was that for you in terms of bringing in players and now with Caitlin coming in, how's that been so far?
Yeah, it enables me to have a new skill set. We've brought in some really good players in. We've brought Caitlin in, who's been brilliant since she stepped through the door. Lots of experience, had a really successful year with Kansas, and we're really happy to have her here and looking forward to working alongside her. It's an exciting time with some of the new additions, staff, players. But yeah, I think one thing that's always going to be constant is our desire to go out there and win and trying to, win championship shields. That's always where our mindset's at. So it's good that we have the right people on board who have that same desire as we do.
An 8-week preseason, what does one do as a head coach to prepare your team with that amount of time ahead?
Yeah, it gives us time. Allows new players to come in and see how we operate, get to know their teammates, get to know the staff. Last year it was a shorter preseason. If you remember, we had the Challenge Cup game. Obviously we went all the way to the final as well. So with this longer preseason, it allows us to, not accelerate things too quickly. Get the foundations right, get the mentality right. So then when we get into the first game of the season, everyone's ready to go and compete.
Is it kind of a blessing in disguise to have that amount of time with the roster turnover that you had?
I think it's a natural progression with any environment. Turnover of players is always a thing, regardless of where you're at. We always want to look to evolve as a team. And again, we've set a foundation here now where we want to be competing for championships. And in order to do that, we need to get the right players in who have that same mindset and mentality and know what it takes to wear the badge as well. You're representing the city of Orlando. The fans are brilliant, and we want to put the best show out there in front of them. So having the right players who have that same mindset and mentality is important for not only us in our environment, but for the city as well.
Is there a timetable for Barbara Bandit to return?
Yeah, we've got to be smart with her. She obviously had, half a season out with injury. She's one of our key players. We obviously missed her towards the second half of the year, and we got to make sure that we're making the right steps in order to perform at our highest. I know that she's hungry to get back onto the field and compete. It's the first time that she's ever been out for this amount of time, so it's a good thing as well. She's been out because now she has a desire and a hunger to go out there and compete on the biggest stage again. So we'll be smart with it. Obviously it was a season-ending injury, and you don't want to just put a player out there and make him vulnerable to another injury like she did have. So yeah, between myself, the medical staff, and Barbara, we'll make sure that her progression is really structured for her to start the season.
And you mentioned adjusting a little bit. Losing a Defender of the Year in Emily Sands, how has that been an adjustment for you?
Yeah, we've got good quality players who have come in. Haley Mace has come in. She had a terrific year last year. She was up there with the top assisters in the league. We also brought in Hannah Anderson, who hasn't had as many opportunities in Chicago, but she has a really good foundation to be a top player in the league. Zara Chavoshi had snippets of playing for us last year. So again, players move on. Players, it's part of the game. It's part of the industry, and we have to make sure that we're prepared for those moments. And I think with the recruitment that we've brought in, and also having the players that we have available, I think we're in a really good position.
Every year is different. much does that stick with everybody, knowing what it takes to get to the top, and now it's a new year to try again?
Yeah, I think, as you finish the year and you have an opportunity to reflect on how the year went, I thought we were brilliant. I thought, we evolved as a team. If you remember in 24, we were very much like a defensive team that transitioned really quickly, and we got a lot of success in that. We're not taking that away. I think last year we evolved as being more of a possession-based team, a passing team, and the stats back that up. An area that we always are looking to improve on is the amount of goals that we can score. I thought defensively we were pretty solid. I think, when you look at it within the league, we were third in goals conceded, which again is a really good foundation, and that's what you need to win championships. And then obviously as the game and the season goes on, we had the challenges of the travel, the CONCACAF, that run of games where we couldn't find a way to win, but we were performing really well. And we overcame that. We were the team that was in form going into the playoffs. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. It kind of was the story of our season, where we had really good momentum against Gotham, but weren't able to really put the ball in the back of the net, and then got punished at the other side. So all in all, I thought it was a really good year for us. Disappointing that we didn't make another final, and we obviously went through the experience of how difficult it is, especially when you have a target on your back and you are the current champions. Gotham will have to go through that as well coming into this year. But that doesn't take away the hunger that we have here. A lot of young new players coming in. We've got senior players who knows what it takes, and it's going to take a collective effort from the staff, the players, everyone who's involved with the club to reach those goals.
What does it say about the league when, what was it, the 8 seed wins?
Yeah, Gotham have kind of made a habit of that in the last 3 years of, being the lowest seed but ending up winning a championship. I think that also says, for us, how well we did in 24, with that expectation of winning the Shield with 3 games to go, but then backing that up by winning the championship. This league is so competitive. There's a lot of parity within the league. You've got 2 new teams coming in with who are going to have good rosters as well. And the challenges just keep coming right in front of us. So yeah, we have to be ready for that. It's really important that we have a really good squad. You're going to face adversity with games and the travel, international duty. So it's making sure that when we go through those moments, we're prepared for it and able to go out there and win games.
You mentioned just the recruitment of players and bringing in new athletes. Without the NWSL draft for the past couple of years, you brought in 3 athletes straight out of college. How has that kind of process been now in the second year, and just in terms of recruitment and scouting?
I think with any young player, transitioning from college to obviously professional and being a big club like ourselves, you have to give young players a bit of grace, but you also have to give them opportunity as well to test them and see what they're made of. And so, yeah, we'll manage them really well. Especially 3 really good athletes who can come in and certainly make an impact. We've also got young players who had a year with us who also knows what it takes, culturally, the principles of how we play and the mentality of what we want from players. So again, we can rely a lot on them also. But we have players who didn't really get as much opportunity last year, but now is an opportunity for them this year. Players like Luana, that's like having a new player right from the start of the year. Summer Yates had a start-stop season, so hoping that she has that consistency throughout the year. And I think sometimes, people from the outside forget about those types of players that we have available. Someone like SJ, Simone Jackson, can we get more out of her this year? And so that's kind of where we're at. We always want to have a conveyor belt of players coming in, and you have to stay with the evolution of the game and making sure you're not just being present but looking ahead as well. So yeah, we're happy. We've got some really good senior players here who also know what it takes to win championships. So yeah, there's a really good balance within the roster and the group. That's not to say we're not done yet, trying to recruit more players. But yeah, once the start of the year comes and we're at home in front of our own fans, we'll make sure that we're ready to go out there and perform.
Thanks, Coach.
Cheers, thank you.